What is up, guys? This is Joe with Optics, and today we're talking about the long-awaited Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I will start this off by saying I have not played the originals. I do know most of the story stuff, but I personally have not played it. I was rather young when it came out, didn't have a PlayStation, and when I got old enough to play it, and had a PlayStation, I didn't like turn-based games. So, while the story seemed amazing, the gameplay just was something that just wasn't for me. Also, for this video, it'll be just me. Ash is a very interesting person, so she knew absolutely nothing about Final Fantasy VII. So she's going to make her own video about this game for a complete newcomer, someone who had no idea. She only heard of Cloud from Smash Bros. Other than that, she knew nothing. So she's working on her own separate video while I'm doing the overall review for this video. Alright, all that out of the way, let's jump right in. First things first, let's just get this out of the way. There is a lot of controversy about the game. People are upset that it's coming out in parts and gameplay being changed and a bunch of other different things. I overall thought it was pretty decent, but I also don't have the nostalgia factor behind it, so take that how you want. I will say, personally, I'm kind of torn on the episodic release. While I understand it because how big this game was, I wish we got a little bit more info on it. Because after finishing this game, I do want the next, and it is kind of upsetting to, at this moment of recording, not know when the next game is coming out. So I feel like if they were going to do the episodic release, they should have at least given a little bit more updates of like, hey, the next part is coming out. They don't have to give us trailers or anything, but just let us know when it's coming out, or a rough estimate of like, hey, maybe 2 years, maybe more, as long as we kind of had an idea. But now we finished it, and we don't know when the next one's coming out. That's my biggest issue with it, because at first I was kind of just taking this as like, instead of it being parts, maybe it's like, like a series. Like, the first thing I thought of was Halo 2 ended on a massive cliffhanger and took years to get to Halo 3. Granted, I don't want that exact situation, but it was a series. So I'm kind of taking this as its own series rather than just an individual game. And that's just how us personally are viewing it, because Ash is in the same mindset for it, and she also loved this. Alright, so let's talk about the game as a whole. Overall, it was a lot of fun. I had some issues with it, but like I said, overall it was enjoyable, was a good time. I definitely liked it. My biggest issue with it was at certain points it seemed kind of stretched out. Not that it hindered it drastically, but after a certain point I was kind of finding myself just wishing I'd got to the next part of the story, because it just seemed like it was taking a while to get there. You're constantly being rerouted and things like that, and granted, this could be something from the original game, I don't know, but this is just my overall thought, that it was something I didn't really like that much. After a certain point, it was annoying when you're going to a spot, you see it, and you know something's going to happen, that you're going to reroute your way a couple different times. And that just kind of got a little annoying for me. But it was still fun. That is my biggest issue. Other than that, we had a few minor texture pop-ups not happening, and there was only one time of audio sync mess up. That was really it. So those are kind of nitpicky, other than the stretch of the game. For some people that might really bother, but us, we were able to get through it without too much of an issue. That's just probably the only negatives I can think of offhand for this game. Alright, now that we got the negatives out of the way, let's focus on the positives. And first thing I want to talk about is the gameplay. And I'm actually very glad I played the demo before I played the game, because they do throw a lot at you at once, and for some people it might be a little overwhelming. But playing the demo, I had a kind of an idea of what was going to lead into this, so I was very thankful for that. That being said, I also heard a lot of people comparing this to Kingdom Hearts, and I can kind of see that, but at the same time, this is way more complicated than Kingdom Hearts, because you can control all these characters, you can switch to them on the fly. If that was the case, I could make Donald's stupid ass actually heal me for once in that game. The gameplay overall seemed kind of like a mix of quite a few different games. I heard a lot of people say it was like Final Fantasy XIII. That is another Final Fantasy I haven't played. It did give me a little bit of 15 vibes in certain moments. But overall it was very unique, and it was way more intricate than I expected. There was a couple of rounds in boss battles that I was basically playing as all three characters, whether actually controlling them or giving them the commands to do. And it was a lot of fun, and you actually kind of had to think about what you had to do. I honestly thought I was going to hate the idea of filling up your gauges and having to use that for potions and stuff like that. but I actually liked it more than I thought I would because it really helped me strategize. Okay, this person's going to be used kind of for potions, this person's for magic, this person's mostly damage. It really helped you strategize in a way that I was not expecting going into this. And I actually ended up loving the fact that I couldn't use potions, Phoenix Downs, or anything like that without having my gauge filled at least to 1 bar. And it made it way more interesting. Granted, it was also very frustrating when you were almost about to heal and then someone hits you and it just wasted that bar. But overall, it was really cool addition. Now, the different characters. They were all unique in their own way, which is something I really, really liked. There are certain characters that at first I didn't like at all until I was kind of forced to play as them with my party being dead, and I had to learn them. And after I learned them, I didn't think they were bad, which is really cool because you kind of just have to take the time to learn how to fight as these characters. And if you do that, you'll definitely appreciate it later on in the game. The game had a very good variety of enemies and boss battles and everything. There's no complaints there whatsoever. The boss battles were challenging, but not too challenging that it made you want to rage quit. I only almost rage quit once or twice, so pretty good for me. Alright, now let's go into the story. But don't worry, not going to be any spoilers in this video. In Ash's video, she'll go into the spoilers. I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, never played the original one, so I don't know all of it, but I know a lot of the plot points, so I wasn't sure where this was going to end, and I heard a lot of people speculating where they thought it was going to end. Honestly, I liked the ending. It did a very good job of feeling like a whole game without making you feel like you were just cut off, which I really appreciated. That was one of my concerns going in, was it wasn't going to feel like a whole game. It was just randomly going to stop and roll credits, and that's not the case. The way that paced was pretty good, like I said, other than a few spots that felt weird. Story was awesome, heavily invested in all these characters right off the bat. Ashley full-on cried at least a good 3 to 4 times. I came close myself quite a few times, actually, too. So, like, they did a very good job. It was also well-balanced in, like, comedy, like, sad moments and action and everything. It was very well-paced in that aspect of it. It, of course, got dark, but not too dark, which I liked. It had a very good balance overall. And that's one of the reasons we loved it. Like, Ashley was full-on sobbing, and a couple minutes later was laughing, while still being depressed, of course. And that's something not many games can do, and we really appreciated that. Ash and I both had a lot of fun with this game, story, everything. The only thing that I will personally say to watch out, if you don't want to know much about this game and you're thinking about it and looking in the trailers, be careful. Especially the final trailer and a couple others really showed a lot. Ashley only saw one trailer, and after she saw that one trailer, she said she wasn't going to watch anymore because she wanted to go into this game completely blind. And she knew very, very little. And she said, personally for her, that was one of the things that made her love it, is because she didn't know what was going to happen to any of these characters. She knew nothing, like I said. And that was fun for her. So it was really cool that she didn't get spoilers. I, of course, am just skilled at it, so I got a few spoilers for myself, but not enough to ruin the game. I still had fun. The graphics were amazing, and I love, with a passion, every single cinematic cutscene. Those cutscenes just always just left me breathless. I can't emphasize enough how much I love those cutscenes. I am just a sucker for a good cinematic cutscene. And let me tell you, there's quite a few in this game, and I appreciated every single one of them. The other thing we really appreciated from this game too was the soundtrack. I looked into it a little bit more after playing, and I wasn't aware at first that a lot of the people who helped make the original Final Fantasy VII jumped back on board in numerous ways. People who directed, helped produce it, people who helped make the music came back for it too. Granted, they got new voice actors, but the voice actors all did phenomenal. The music also was amazing. They did a very good job at redoing the music without losing the feel of it. A lot of the musics are very similar to the original ones, just slightly altered. And there are some new tracks in general, but overall the music was phenomenal. Voice acting, just the same. These voice actors really brought their A game. There's not a single voice actor that I didn't like. Every single one was just awesome. awesome. You can really see they handled this game with so much care, and that I personally appreciate it, but I hope even more so the original die-hard fans of this game appreciate as well. Everything was just so well taken care of. You can see they put not just money but time into it, and they put their so much passion into it, which was awesome. I personally, after hearing some things about the original game, I honestly won't even go back and play the original game because all these different things I'm hearing. Not that the original game is bad by any means, but they really took the time to flush out certain characters. Without going into details, there are certain characters who were very minor in the original, but in this one you get their full backstory, you get missions just for them. You really get to learn about them, and not just that, you really get attached to all these characters. There's not a single character that was there, that was main and some secondary, that I didn't like. All the characters that I didn't like are the characters who I'm not supposed to like the villains. I'm just like, you're a douchebag, you're awful, stop being mean to Cloud. But the regular people looked awesome. They were awesome. And the side missions made you get even more attached to them. So, be careful. A lot of sad stuff in this game. So, if you're debating on getting this game, and you've never played Final Fantasy before, I definitely recommended it. I personally love Final Fantasy 15, and I think this is just as good. I don't want to push it past 15 just yet because there are more parts of this still coming. But I will almost certainly like this better than Final Fantasy 15. Ashley already said it's on par for her list of being up there with Kingdom Hearts. So we loved the story, loved the gameplay, loved everything about it. If you're if you're an old Final Fantasy fan, that's something you kind of have to make for yourself because I can't give too much guidance on it because I personally don't know, and I don't know enough to tell you how close it is. I know they have made some changes in the story, so I don't know how diehard fans will feel about that. I personally was okay with it. I know Ash and I are going to talk a little bit more to see how she feels about it. I'm going to, of course, do it without going into spoilers for her. But the changes they made, I personally liked, and a lot of it isn't until the end of this game. So the diehard fans should still be happy all the way up till that point, at least. But I think they did a very good job of pleasing the diehard fans while also bringing in a bunch of new fans as well, like myself and especially Ash. Alright, I'm going to stop there because I feel myself getting ready to go into spoilers how much I'm talking about this, and I don't want to do that to you guys. If you enjoyed the review, maybe subscribe. Like I said, Ash will be doing her video of Final Fantasy VII Remake for newcomers in a couple days, and we'll be going into spoilers there as well. So keep an eye out for that, guys. If you enjoyed the video, do all that YouTube crap, like, subscribe, all that. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time.